Our training requirements requires us to have about, for each diver, to have about an average of 6 to 10 dives a year. And we carry out different techniques, searches.
In this training exercise, the divers are conducting a recovery, combing the area using strings and making a grid to make sure that they search everywhere possible. Minutes later, the diver is found.
These are new masks which we will be using today. We've got them about a year ago, the OTS. We can actually, they've got speech diaphragms, so we can speak to the guys on the surface through a transmitter in the mask and on the boat or on the shore. There's your speech receiver, and just to equalize, there's this thing that you press against your nose. It's got an orinasal mask to reduce the dead space in the mask, so you don't get buildup of carbon dioxide. And it's quite good. You get a really big field of vision when you put it on.
Well, the sensation when we actually call out for any activity within the sea is really very similar to any other incident within Gibraltar. Being Gibraltar a very close community, we actually don't know what to expect if any close relatives or friends are involved in it.
The chances of getting a diver is probably one that you know. So when we go call out to an incident, that's always at the back of your head, and always trying the best to your abilities to try and save that person's life.
In recent years, the Gibraltar Fire and Rescue Service has been involved in the recovery of bodies in various parts of Gibraltar's coastline, including the North Mole, Rosia Bay, the South Mole, and the reef commonly known as La Seca. There have also been many reports of missing persons or divers that have instigated the brigade's full dive and rescue mobilization, but have fortunately ended in false alarms, with divers having drifted with strong currents and managing to exit the sea in different locations or beaches around Gibraltar.
Obviously, when there's incidents involving divers, because Gibraltar is such a close-knit community and we tend to know each other, we've got that extra strain on us, and not only the fire brigade, but I would say that all emergency services, because you always know someone or know of someone that might be directly or indirectly involved within the incident. It has happened to me personally. Fortunately enough, the brigade, as an organisation, has moved forward. We now have a counsellor that is there to assist us once it is over. But during the job, I mean, there's a job to be done. We are professionals. We do get on with it, and emotions tend to come up once the job is done and is completed.
Once a year, all of the watchers are involved in more complex exercises and even involve ditching vehicles into the sea.
We get a car and ditch it in the sea, and we pretend that there's casualties inside, and we get all the watch involved to actually take part on the diving incident, just to get us prepared on a real scenario.
Into the diving store. This is our diving store. You can see we've got all our suits, sets, cylinders, all our equipment ready on the go, just in case we need it. That's where we wash everything when we come from diving. This is like a general diving, drying and diving area. All the ancillary equipment's there. Everything ready to go. If you come up with me, we've got our workshop where we regularly carry out services on our second stage and first stage valves. We also service, visually inspect the cylinders, and we've got everything set up here to fix our own stuff. It's all self-sufficient. There's about 7 guys qualified in the station to do this, and we're on a roster, so we constantly monitor and upkeep all the equipment.
There is a big difference when we are called out to a ship fire, for example, or a house fire, and automatically we're thinking of all the hazards that we could encounter on the way. It could be an explosive environment, because we just sometimes don't know what, let's say, a ship may carry, for example. It could be explosive material, chemical materials. All of those things could pose a real danger to us in the way we would try and deal with it. So on the way to a fire of that nature, we usually have a lot of things in our mind, and obviously, naturally, the human factor. We know our lives are at stake more than perhaps a house fire. So we have all those things that really we have to try and overcome. The training comes in. We do specialized training in order to deal with all of these types of scenarios.
Undoubtedly, ship fires are probably one of the most difficult and dangerous fires to deal. The mere fact that vessels are surrounded by water, access and egress from such vessels are difficult. Obviously, the nature of the vessel, what it's made of, and the fact that heat is conducted in all directions undoubtedly makes ship firefighting the most dangerous and difficult fires to deal with.
Just joined the fire brigade, finished my recruit training, and within months there was a boat called the Bonito exploded all of a sudden, and we in fact had the explosion here for the station. It vibrated the station, and I don't remember Salvador Stanley Gomez. He was the one that did the training for us, so he said, look guys, this is for real. So I remember going on that particular job with a lot of excitement and anticipation, and everything that we'd been trained for we wanted to put into practice, but at the same time there was a nervousness behind it because of we know this was going to be a big fire and we didn't know what to expect.
It was October '96. The Bonito was a small water tanker was docked alongside the North Mole and flashing the pipes with water. There was an explosion on board, as we all know, with unfortunately one fatality. And the brigade turned up, extinguished the fire, and we actually proceeded during the whole of the night to carry out cooling purposes and dumping over as soon as it was moved into the inner side of the mole. Currently, the only vessel that the fire service has is a 21-foot rigid inflatable boat, which we use to mainly transport, mainly for diving incidents. Should a vessel alongside, or should we require, like we saw during the North Mole tank fires, boundary cooling or cooling, there are tug companies in Gibraltar that do assist us, that do come to help as part of the resilience that Gibraltar has in incidents that affect the port, its waters, and maybe vessels that are alongside or out in the bay. And the tugs, you know, they will come to our assistance, and we do use them when required.
Well, recently, the past few years, we have a counsellor here at the station that help us deal with difficult situations, such as when you have to see a lifeless body, or it could be an accident and see something that really can affect you. So the counsellor really help us to deal with that and to deal with the feelings and emotions that could sometimes hinder us later on to perform our job correctly.
During the last few years, the Gibraltar Fire and Rescue Service has been directly involved in a series of incidents in or around our waters. Fires ranging from large anchored ships in the bay to pleasure boats, together with searches for missing divers and the recovery of bodies. The brigade has always been at the forefront of Gibraltar's search and rescue service.